Man, what an absolutely ugly game. A disappointing game from start to finish. I'm going to talk about a lot of different things regarding the Kansas City Chiefs game. Just a couple of minutes ago that it wrapped up. Hit that like button, subscribe if this is your cup of tea. If you're a Detroit Lions fan, that's greatly appreciated for the channel. Um, I think that there's some glaring questions, and I don't like to go down this road. I've only done it once on this channel. Been podcasting for almost 3 years now. I've only uh, blatantly blamed referees one time, and that was the Dallas Cowboys game a couple years ago. Atrocious. But I see all the things you guys see, and I feel you. I'm with you. I understand the frustration. It's just kind of not that surprising to me. I just kind of know when you're going up against the Chiefs, there's been a stigma around them for a couple years that you're not just going against the Chiefs, you're not just going against the Chiefs fans. There's the referees involved, and there's always some questionable calls in football games. But it seems like in their games that's a little amplified. And I'm not saying that that's the reason why the Detroit Lions lost. I'm not on here crying like I know some Chiefs fans will come in here and say. I'm just having a conversation about the Detroit Lions. I think we got our butts whooped, first and foremost. Let me throw that out there before we start talking about the referees. Their fingerprints were at least on this game. At the very least, I can look at anyone in the eyes and say that the referees had their fingerprints on this game. Starting off with the first drive of the game, the trick play, wildcat formation that we saw last week, but kind of with the new wrinkle where Goff is motioning to the outside and doesn't come to a complete stop when the ball is snapped. David Montgomery throws it to him, bobbles it, catches it. Ref signals touchdown. Refs huddle up. Well, was it illegal motion? Because when it's illegal motion, a flag should be thrown right away. The play continues. It's not a dead ball foul like a false start is. An illegal motion or an illegal formation is not a dead ball for whatever reason. I don't know. But when you call that, there should at least be a flag right away if you're calling immediate or illegal formation. So for the refs to allow the play to go on and then huddle up for, I don't know, I didn't have a stopwatch on it, but I just knew watching and seeing Dan's reaction and seeing Goff, seeing the refs huddled up, and then all of a sudden a flag comes out, it gets dropped. I already knew what we were doing. Right from there on, I said, refs are going to have an impact on this game. How big? We'll talk about that as we go. Ugly that the NFL did that. I thought, even if it's a penalty and the announcers, Chris Collinsworth and Tirico, were saying it's not reviewable. So I know it didn't go to a review. So the refs changed the call on the field themselves, which is something to my football knowledge I haven't seen ever. I don't think. Like, I'm racking my brain trying to find a time when I'm watching football and I've seen the refs huddle like that and completely throw a flag down on something that wasn't intentional grounding. I don't know. It's a bad look. Did it alter the course of the game? No. Again, I think the Lions got their butts whooped defensively. And I think there were some offensive mistakes where we couldn't convert. There were some drops. There was some penalties, some negative plays, some pressures. The Chiefs played their asses off. I told you guys going in, Steve Spagnuolo is the best defensive coordinator in the NFL. He's so good at it that he doesn't want to be a head coach. He loves coaching defense. I respect that. I respect the hell out of it. It's something we've kind of heard from John Morton about, loving calling offense and doesn't really have interest in being a head coach. Spagnuolo dialed up great defenses all night. Hats off to him. I think we kind of got away from ourselves with running the football and kind of tipping and leading into his hand. And that's what the Chiefs do. That's what they do on defense. They try to make you play their style of football. They get some mismatches. But the ref thing, there were some other things too. The Travis Kelce catch, I don't know how you call that complete. I get it. They call it complete. The Chiefs hurry up, run to the line, call a play, can't challenge it. But I don't even know how they could call that a completed pass. I saw it live, and I'm not 10 feet in front of Travis Kelce. I'm behind the TV, and I said, that's an incomplete pass. I don't know how the refs could call it anything else. And then there's the Travis Kelce phantom pass interference call down the sideline on a big third down where we're looking to get the ball back and change the game. And maybe we go up another, I think like half a score at that point. I think we would have been at 4 points. I don't know why I said half a score. That's not a real thing, but you know what I'm saying? Maybe not a touchdown, but I think we at least get some points, or a stop is at least helpful too. So Travis Kelce, He's the best tight end to ever play this game. I get it. He doesn't need any help. He doesn't need any help to just throw his hands up, look at a referee, go like this. The referee waits 6-7 seconds and goes, yeah, maybe it was defensive pass interference. Throws a flag. I don't know. It was awful officiating, and I hate going down this road. I swear to God, I do. I hate being the guy to talk about refs, but again, I truly, truly believe they had their fingerprints on this game, especially in the first half. I think it's just absolutely wild that the Kansas City Chiefs had one penalty, and it was, I think, with about 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter, an offsides penalty that was actually declined because we gained more yards than what we would have got up with the penalty. An offside by Chris Jones, I think, with about 2 minutes and some change left. It was that last drive, I believe. I just can't fathom a world where the Kansas City Chiefs, who had 13 penalties last week, cleaned everything up in 6 days against one of the most electric offenses in the Detroit Lions and have zero penalties, essentially. That is absolutely wild to me. Again, I guess tonight was just a first for old Stevie P, because that's just something else that I just haven't seen a team playing just an absolutely perfect, clean game of football. There was absolutely nothing to clean up technical wise, I guess, according to the Kansas City Chiefs and how that game was officiated. But moving on, I think we did get away from ourselves. It looked like we were having some success running the football. Chiefs made us a little one-dimensional. The pressure was getting to Goff. I know he wasn't sacked a whole lot, but you could just tell that ball was coming out super, super quick before our routes were getting fully developed and before we could really get something going down the field. Offense, I thought we looked good at times, but then there were some drives that we kind of stuttered out. And a drop by St. Brown. I'm not going to beat that up too much. That's my guy, man. St. Brown's made that catch 1,000 times. He dropped one. I can live with that. I get it. It sucks. I wish he would have caught it. That could have been another drive where we go down and score, changes the game a little bit. I think that played more of an impact than the refs. So no more talk about the refs today. Maybe tomorrow we'll have another conversation. We'll see how I'm feeling. But just some miscues. And then defensively, man, Patrick Mahomes did exactly what I thought Patrick Mahomes was going to do. When you're not getting put behind the chains, there's no negative plays. You're constantly playing ahead of the sticks on 2nd and 7, 3rd and 3. It's hard to get a pass rush when you're Patrick Mahomes and you're just literally catching the ball, telling Travis Kelce to run 2-3 steps, turn around, boom, I'm going to hit you in the zone. That's just all they did up and down the field on us quite a bit. Our zone defense wasn't great. Our man coverage wasn't great. The few times we got some pressure on Patrick Mahomes, I know Hutch punched the ball out. Just another missed opportunity. If we get that ball, who knows? But I think that the critical point for me in this game was I don't know who came up with this phrase, but I kind of started stealing it. I wish I could give him credit. It was one of the announcers. The middle 10. The middle 10. I kind of had a question mark when we won the coin toss and took the ball. Most coaches defer, take the ball after halftime in that middle 10 where you get a possession before halftime, score like the Chiefs did, and then after halftime you get the ball back, so you're getting the last 5 minutes and the first 5 minutes you've got the ball, where the Detroit Lions didn't really touch it. I think we got it with 14 seconds or something, not enough to really get into position to score. So I thought that was crucial that the Chiefs scored before halftime. We get it for 40 seconds, can't do anything, essentially kneel and go into halftime, and then they get the ball back and go down the field and score again. So that middle 10 I think was critical. I don't know why Dan did that. I'm not questioning it. I don't when I heard that we were taking the ball, I was just a little confused. Like, no, that's it's not odd. I've seen it before, but I just don't understand the analytics. If someone wants to drop that in the comments and say why a team takes the ball first, I don't know. It's just something that I feel is slightly disadvantageous, I guess. I don't know that I would have done that if I'm a coach, but Dan's a much better football mind than me. I just would like someone to explain what the theory behind that is, because that's what every coach who gets the ball into halftime does, is they try to double up those scores. And that's what the Chiefs did. And that middle 10 minutes, I think, was absolutely crucial for them to get 2 scores there. I don't know, guys. It was just an ugly game. We couldn't force any turnovers. I think they only punted the ball one time. We didn't get any extra possessions for our offense, who, again, I think sputtered out a couple times. So if we could have got a ball here or there, got a stop or a negative play somewhere, maybe it would have been the difference of the game. But I truly don't believe that the refs were the only reason the Lions lost. I definitely for sure can't say that, but I just want to know, what are you feeling? Do you think that the refs had more of an impact than I'm giving on. And if you do, that's perfectly fine. This is an open space here at Detroit Den 313. We take every comment, we read it, and we try to have a little dialogue about it. And again, not crying. Hey, listen, I at no point thought that the Detroit Lions were going to run the table and go 16-1. My goal for the bye week is 5-2. That goal was established for me long ago. It's very realistic. Big game coming up with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are playing some damn good football right now. They're a scary team. And they got a kid, Baker Mayfield, that I hate how much I love Baker Mayfield. He's probably one of my favorite players in the NFL. He's playing like an MVP right now. So if we can get to 5-2, the season is still well alive. Luckily, this was an AFC loss, similar to when we lost to the Buffalo Bills last year. It doesn't really matter because it's a non-conference game. I mean, I'd still want to win these football games. Don't get me wrong. But at the end of the day, I could sit back and look and say, we're still in first place in the division. We still have some meaningful games at home against some opponents, the Vikings and the Packers. I know we got an away game with the Bears and away game with the Vikings too. But this is the meat and potatoes. This was the grind for the schedule. I thought this Cleveland, I thought they'd be a little better. Cincinnati, I thought, Joe Burrow, that could have been a good game coming into this week. Kansas City, Mahomes now going against Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers that have played us very tough. So I thought that this was kind of the hardest part of the schedule. We've navigated it very well. We still got some work to do. We can still beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This loss is not the end of the world. Everything is going to be okay, but it was a bad loss. There was some positives. Hey, I'm not gonna do a whole show and not talk about some positives. Dan Skipper, game ball, absolute game ball. I thought he played out of his mind. The announcers, I don't know how familiar they are with Detroit Lions football. They kept calling him the third string tackle. I personally think he's probably the second. Should have been ahead of Giovanni Manu last week, but that's not how it was. But we know Dan Skipper. He's been around for a while. He's got some experience. I thought he played absolutely phenomenal. Jared Goff, I thought, played phenomenal. Took care of the ball. That's the most important thing you want to do. I thought he was very efficient, 23 of 29, 203 yards, 2 touchdowns. Unfortunately, we just couldn't get that big pass because they were pressuring and blitzing so heavily that it was effective that we just kind of had to dink and dunk, and we couldn't really break some tackles or make some things happen. Jahmyr Gibbs, I thought, had a decent game. Started out red hot. I think he had like 40 yards in the first drive, and I was like, Jahmyr's running for 200 tonight. Didn't even break 100. The team didn't even break 100. Some questions about why David Montgomery might not have been used more, only 4 carries, but he did have a big catch of 23 yards. Sam Laporta had a good game. It was good to see Jamison Williams get it going today. 6 catches, 66 yards, and a touchdown. Defensively, I believe Aiden Hutchinson had he had a strip sack today. There are some positives to take out of this game, guys. All right. I know a lot of people are doom and gloom. Loss. It looked ugly. I understand, but I think that there was more positives to take out of this. And I sound defeated. I am. First and foremost, I've been up for almost 24 hours, so I'm extremely tired. And I don't like when the Lions lose, but I can sit back and say it was an ugly game. There was some positives. But what happened at the end? Brian Branch. I watched it a couple times. Someone was recording from the upper deck. It looked like from there, it looked like a closed fist punch. Seeing it up close, it was just kind of a shove to Juju Smith-Schuster's face. Still not good. Not a good look. Bad sportsmanship. I'm absolutely disappointed in that. He lost the game. It was an ugly game. We got our butts whooped. Shake hands, hit the shower, move on. I fully expect a suspension coming either internally or from the NFL. Maybe not from the NFL now that I see that it wasn't a punch. It was just kind of a shove to the face, unwarranted. Listen, I get it. Juju was probably talking some shit. Brian Branch walked right up to him, obviously voiced his frustration. So I know Dan Campbell spoke on it at the end of the game, saying that he was disappointed with that altercation at the end. And I think if the NFL is not going to suspend him, I don't know. It's such a big game next week that I don't want to see him get suspended, but I don't know. You can't be doing stuff like that. You can't be doing stuff like that after a loss. You can't walk up to a guy, start a brawl. Absolutely can't happen. It's bad sportsmanship. You lost, shake hands. It sets a bad example for kids. It sets a bad example for everyone. It was just an ugly, ugly scene. Could have been a lot worse. Could have been handled much, much better, though. So we'll talk about that more later. I'm sure something will come out. I can guarantee you Brian Branch's pockets will be a little light this week on the paycheck at the very, very minimum. So I'm curious to see what Dan does, curious to see what the NFL does with this situation. We'll be looking onto that and seeing what comes from this altercation after the game. Disappointing, guys, but hey, I think there's some positives. It's okay. We're going to talk about some Tampa Bay Buccaneers stuff coming up. Stick around, hit that like button. We'll be back later with another show.